Hi, I'm Shad.
And I'm Tim.
We're Forever Honeymooners.
Welcome back. Today, we'll be discussing 5 reasons not to get married. Stay tuned. Number 5.
Number 5, money and security.
Money and security. Absolutely. I know sometimes we are struggling. Sometimes we see that it's going to be hard to make it on one income or very little. And someone comes along and they're offering us the world or, just a second income. We see how that would potentially make things easier. But money and security are never the reason or reasons to get married. Those things could play a role at some point in some way, but they're never a primary reason to get married. We have to remember that God is our provider, He is our sustainer, and He's our ultimate source. And if it's not for love, if it's not God ordained, and if it's not someone you're compatible with, if it's not someone that God Himself put you together with, no amount of money or security in the world will make you happy.
That's right, baby.
Number 4.
Number 4, status. Well, the reason we say status is because sometimes people get married because of where they can go, what they can say they accomplished, or they can say they've been, you may marry somebody because you think if I marry this person, I can travel around the world, I can hang out on yachts, or I can go on cruises, or I can rub elbows with famous people, or with people of high status. It may be that you can hang out in certain places that you always wanted to, but you couldn't because you weren't of that status. So you marry somebody so that status can get you what you want. So that's why we say status. We don't want to marry people just so we can paint the town red, or travel the world, or get all of the goodies in life that we think we can get because we're with somebody of a certain caliber or status. So that's why status is not a reason to marry someone.
Number 3.
Number 3, looks.
Looks.
God made us to be attracted to one another. I imagine Eve was beautiful to Adam, and I imagine Adam was handsome to Eve. So there's nothing wrong with a person's appearance being attractive. But that shouldn't be the main reason why we get married. That shouldn't be at the top of our list, at the top of our priorities. Character is really the foundation, one of the foundational things that you look at in a person when preparing for marriage, how much they line up with Christ. But looks should never be the reason, because you can see someone and they may look good, and it could be he or she may be beautiful, but once you get into a relationship with them, you find out it's almost the total opposite, if not altogether the total opposite of what they look like. Sometimes they're beautiful on the outside, but they're not beautiful on the inside. So you want to marry someone who's beautiful on the inside, and then the outward will just go along with that. If you can find someone beautiful on the inside and beautiful on the outside, then great. And when you love someone and that person loves you, and both of you love Christ, they're going to be beautiful inside and out.
Amen.
So it's the inside that's more important than the outside.
Amen. I totally agree. But you look good. You look good. Number 2.
Number 2, to get rid of problems.
People get married to get rid of problems?
Apparently so.
Yes, they do. And that tends to go along with a need to feel accepted and a need to feel secure and a need for things that we have that are lacking in the relationship that we think marriage will make up for. Some people, they have a tumultuous courtship and engagement and things like that, and they're thinking, oh, the wedding will fix it all, when it generally turns out to be that it gets worse after the wedding. There are certain expectations that come with marriage. I mean, generally, you think the person, marriage is supposed to somehow change their mind if you're in this mindset that marriage is going to fix it. The actual wedding day, the actual vows, don't generally change the mind. What they do, some people actually get more comfortable because they think, oh, we're married now, so what is there to worry about? This person is with me and they're going to be with me, so I can just continue to be how I am. I really don't have to change. So that's definitely something you want to pay attention to. If you have a really, really rocky relationship before you get married, it's better to seek the Lord, get some spiritual guidance and counseling, start to study your word, go into yourself with God, go to the other person, start to work out your differences before you get married, because it's generally the case, Shad, that it gets worse after marriage.
Yeah, you don't have to suck your stomach in anymore once you get married. You can let it out, just breathe.
Number one,
fantasy.
Fantasy. I'll tell you what, a lot of women fantasize about their wedding day from 4 years old and up. I mean, you have some women who are planning their wedding day from elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when it comes time for the big day, they've been so consumed with the fantasy of marriage, the idea of it, the beauty of the wedding day, and the honeymoon, that they haven't really considered the work and the sacrifice and the grace and all of the duty and consistency, the acceptance of your mate, and all of those things that go along with marriage. And so when the wedding day is over, when the honeymoon is over, I mean, we want to be forever honeymooners, right?
Exactly.
I do. So it's important to really, really consider and think about, is this the person God gave me? How will we make this relationship work? Is it going to be something that can glorify God throughout eternity? So we really, really have to consider those things. It can't be about the white picket fence and the 2.4 kids and the golden retriever and the yellow house on the end of the cul-de-sac. It really, really has to be about deep, concerted effort and love and grace.
Yeah, all of those things could be great if they follow behind, Christ in the heart. Mm-hmm. The proper criteria for marriage. Does this person love Jesus? Does this person worship God? Mm-hmm. Is this person kind? Do they really love God and me? Mm-hmm. And if all those things are yes, and then they're a knight in shining armor, or they're a prince charming, then that's great. But just to have a fantasy, a fairy tale mind, everything is just on this big puffy white cloud and all the glitter and Cinderella type of a deal. It has to be a real down to earth, to the core, solid Christian character, godly character in your spouse. And that's the criteria for marriage, not just a fantasy.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, we hope this program has blessed you as you continue to tune in to the countdown. You want to definitely be here next week as we explore many other things dealing with preparing for marriage. And don't forget, Manifest Monday, where Shad talks to the men about manifesting greatness in marriage. And Wise Woman Wednesdays, you definitely want to tune in, ladies, because we've been learning some very fun and interesting and informative things there. Okay? And don't forget to subscribe. That button is somewhere on the screen, and we want you to definitely hit that red subscribe button. And as always,
And let's always remember that marriage in God's hands is truly a blessing.
Amen.
Amen.
Happy
Happy
honeymooning.